Welcome to the Critérium du Dauphiné 2025. We are set for a blockbuster 77th edition featuring the top three riders from last year's Tour de France. Tadej Pogačar, Jonas Vingegaard and Remco Evenepoel. It's their first tussle since last July and it should give us a clearer idea of what we can expect this summer.
In 2020 was a little bit different than now. I became fourth there and I hope I can improve that result this week, but if not, no worries. It's kind of a preparation race for the Tour de France. I just hope for a good sensation that I don't need to do so much work after the Dauphiné.
Vingegaard hasn't raced since withdrawing from Paris-Nice in March, but he's here with a strong team, including the man who won that race, Mathieu. As for Evenepoel, he had a decent spring after his comeback from injury, and he's hoping to improve on 7th place at last year's Dauphiné.
Of course, I'm here with a lot of motivation to do very well. I think it's looking for those last percentages and details towards the tour shape, and then I hope to end up higher than I did last year. So yeah, we have a pretty strong team. I'm feeling confident as well, so I think a lot is possible this week.
The Dauphiné isn't really a race for sprinters, and today's bumpy final may be too tough for fast men like Jonathan Milan. Normally, Mathieu van der Poel would be the man to beat, but the Dutchman is nursing an injured wrist suffered at the Mountain Bike World Cup a few weeks ago.
The wrist is not 100%, but it's still okay. The only thing is I didn't really do like all-out effort, so we will see how I feel today. I think Milan is the favorite. He's the fastest of this bunch, but maybe we can try and do something.
Just under 200 kilometres today from Domerat to Montluçon with 7 climbs, and the Côte de Buffon, 600 metres at 8.6%, could throw a spanner in the works for the sprinters. The riders will go up it 3 times, including once in the last 7 kilometres. Well, 2 French riders decided to stretch their legs today. Pierre Thierry at the back here in the red and black of Arkea B&B Hotels, and Paul Orselin in the red and yellow of Cofidis. They didn't pose much of a threat to the peloton and built a maximum gap of almost 4 minutes, but it was down to 1 minute and 20 by the time they reached the intermediate sprint in Montluçon. Thierry rolling through ahead of Orselin, which left 1 bonus second for the peloton. Now, we saw Visma Lease Bike chasing these at Paris-Nice with Jorgensen, but this time they were outgunned by Niels Pollitt, a teammate of Pogačar at UAE Team Emirates XRG. The 2 leaders maintaining a small gap over the peloton as they continue to battle for mountains points, although it was admittedly a rather one-sided battle. Orselin leading the way over the first 4 climbs of the day to guarantee himself the race's first polka dot jersey. Well, that was job done as far as he was concerned, so he sat up and let himself be caught by the bunch. Thierry forging on solo.
Un homme seul en tête, Thierry, le 196.
The young Frenchman led by nearly a minute as they entered the final 50 kilometres. But on the 5th of the day's 7 climbs, things were starting to stir back in the peloton. Thierry would soon be joined by Fred Wright of Bahrain Victorious as the bunch eased off a bit after the climb. Thierry and Wright heading over the finish line and into the final lap with a lead of 36 seconds. Well, Thierry picked up a final polka dot point on the penultimate climb before calling it a day. Wright going solo and now leading the peloton by just over 20 seconds. The big names starting to swarm towards the front on these narrow, twisting roads, and Lidl Trek was still leading the chase for Milan. Wright showing impressive resistance to hold them off until the final climb of the Côte de Buffon inside the last 10k, but he was swallowed up as the attacks began to fly.
Axel Laurent with a furious move now for Ineos Grenadiers, and he does not want Jonathan Milan to win this stage.
There was a brief lull just after the summit, and that was when Vingegaard stepped on the gas.
Vingegaard poised now to strike. He sees that there is a chance and he decides he's going to test the world champion.
The Dane quickly followed by Pogačar, Van der Poel and Santiago Buitrago. So much for this being a sprint stage. Evenepoel also wanted to join the party and did a superb job to bridge across. So a 5-star breakaway now leading. The sprint teams were chasing hard, but it wasn't going to be easy to bring them back. Into the final kilometre and they still had a few seconds. The peloton were closing but not fast enough. It would be a sprint between the favourites in Montluçon, with Van der Poel looking to go from distance.
Tadej Pogačar manoeuvres them into the front of him. It's so close now, 500 metres to go. The peloton are closing in. Are they going to be caught on the line by one of these sprinters? Sam Watson starts to sprint. They all look around at each other and it may well be a bunch sprint. In fact, they look like they may well get caught right on the line. Who is going to take this? They go sprinting. Mathieu van der Poel, Tadej Pogačar, Jonas Vingegaard. It's going to be a photo finish, but it's going to be Tadej Pogačar, stage number 1 to the world champion.
Well, the big guns showing they'll be battling it out every single day this week, no matter the terrain, after Vingegaard smarked that thrilling late move. Pogačar picking up exactly where he left off at Liège-Bastogne-Liège with yet another victory this season, his 8th in total. It's also his first Dauphiné stage win in just his 2nd appearance at the race.
Yeah, it's a stage win. I can go home from Dauphiné happy already. So, but yeah, I still want to see how the shape will be at the TT and on the mountain stages. I cannot say after today that I have that the shape is incredible. Obviously, it's good, but yeah, the real test is coming end of the weekend.
Pogačar, Vingegaard, Van der Poel and Evenepoel locking out the top 4, with Jake Stewart the fastest man from the peloton. Milan eventually finished down in 28th place. Pogačar swaps his rainbow bands for the leader's yellow and blue jersey, which he could potentially keep for the whole week. He leads Vingegaard by 4 seconds. The Slovenian is also the early leader of the points classification, although Vingegaard will wear green on his behalf in tomorrow's 2nd stage. Orsolan takes the polka dot jersey after his efforts in the break. The Frenchman 2 points ahead of his fellow escapee Thierry. And Evenepoel is the best young rider ahead of Hugo Page and Bastien Tranchant. Well, stage 2 will be another punchy one with more than 3,000 metres of climbing on the road to Issoire. Join us for that on Monday, and thanks for watching.